What's up, guys? You know what night it is? Wednesday night, off-centered with... Say something.
Dustin, the sports car dad. We didn't rehearse this. I have no idea what we're doing.
You know, we
I
try this.
I was about to say, let's get to work.
And now I think your internet's frozen. Great. Awesome. That is so early for your internet to screw up. Yeah, we're trying to do an intro together. It's so much smoother when I just introduce Dustin, the artist formerly known as the Personal Finance Dad. 302 people now know him as Retro Game Dad, even though he ignores that channel. But now he goes as Sports Car Dad. And tonight we got a great show.
Can you hear me and see me? Can you see me and hear me?
I can hear you. We're just going to have to talk over each other because there's going to be like a 2-second delay and we can never tell when each of us is going to talk. But this is going to be a great show. We have Chris, aka VegasFinds 777. If you are not familiar with Chris, he had a great station back in 2020, 2021. One of the smoothest talkers in the game, a very insightful guy and a great dude living in Las Vegas, collecting all sorts of things, as well as being involved in NBA Top Shot, which apparently he retired and bought an island near Fiji after all of his profits. But we're going to learn a lot about what he's been up to. And that's about it. So why don't you do the catchphrase, Dustin?
What is it again?
Never mind. Welcome back. Now let's get to work. All right. How about this? You say hi to some of these people in the comment section here.
All right. Yes, absolutely. Let's go to the chat. Vadim, good to see you. Yeah,
all the way from Spain.
He's talking mainly to me since Brad gave up on content. Troy, what is going up, my friend? What's going on? Brian Sherland, I know Golden Bucks. We get it. Bucks, gold, Bucks. South Stands 303. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Mike C in the house. Yeah, he remembers VegasFinds.
Yeah. Diversified Collectibles. I wonder if Crystal has his channel up too. If he does, go to VegasFinds 777 and watch all those videos. It's really funny. Ryan McClanahan going stealth mode with his history through cards - shortcut.
Wait, that's Ryan. So we didn't get a new subscriber. We didn't get a new viewer. It's just
maybe maybe he subscribed through the channel, his other account. So thank you, Ryan, for coming in.
Ryan, if you could just log in with both accounts simultaneously, just so we
have your whole family
have
log
more
in.
viewership.
Everybody have your whole family log in so we can get up to 1 million people on the stream.
Definitely got to shout out Philly Joe. Joe Cheeseman has been one of the most active and supportive members of my community Card Life. So I want to give a shout out to Joe, who joins me on many Friday mornings and discusses what he's been up to. And it's really cool to see him progress. AJ Rose, another one from Japan. Dude, the coolest thing, we got Spain, we have Japan. I know we have Canada. I love seeing the different countries because it gives me more optimism in regards to where this hobby can really grow once Fanatics takes over and once other resources become available. So I love seeing that. DJ.
Wait, I've been seeing DJ Quicksilva a while in the chat. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you as well.
Collectibles, the homie VegasFinds 777. That's funny. Iconic trading cards. What's up?
We got a female.
Yep.
Female alert.
That's Chris. That's Chris's lady. That's the only female.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That no wonder.
That's the only female that's going.
Jim's in the house as well. All right, man. We got a lot of people starting off. So we got 40 people in here already. Great to see everyone here. Michael Stone, another person in my community Card Life, joining me on Friday morning. So congrats on your senior class. Michael Stone is a teacher, so it's great to see him making a big difference in the kids of America.
Yeah, shout out to all the teachers out there. We're thinking about you, along with all the students and the teachers going through stuff. So,
and I
have two elementary school kids, so you're all on my mind for sure.
Absolutely, and yes, we'll have Chris on in a second. I got to say this though, Brennan, great to see you. If you won one of the spots from the Rip and Wax break a couple weeks ago, Chris, aka Rip and Wax, sent me a lot of these cards. So Troy, I need your address. Or actually, no, Mark Horowitz, I need yours. I need GD, I need your address.
Brendan
Ryan, that's why I remembered. Brendan Ryan, I need your address. Real Asset Collection, I need your address. and Troy Collectibles. I believe I need yours. If this is one of you, send me an email. Email only, no DM, no comment, nothing. Just an email, thecomebackcardinvestor@gmail.com. Put in the subject, Rippin' Wax giveaway, and then your name and an address. I hate
you can email or match with Brad on Hinge.
Yeah. If you're on Hinge and you match with me, you can give me your address that way. But I like emails are like is like my definition of hell, and admin work is hell. So please make it easy. Just email me there with Rippin' Wax giveaway, and then I'll send you your cards ASAP. So that's one thing we had to mention. Yes, you're our token female. What else we have going on? There's a couple other things. Tomorrow night, you want to talk about tomorrow night, Dustin?
Yeah, Card Life. Let's talk about it. Yeah, what do we have going on, Brad? Just put it out there. I feel like guys, it's your baby. I'm working with you on it, but it's your baby.
Yeah, it's my baby. This is my community here. But tomorrow, if you want to go face to face with us rather than just in the chat, but join us on Zoom, there is going to be a power hour from 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. So that's 9:30 to 10:30 Eastern for content creators and entrepreneurs. So I'll be joined by with Dustin and Tim from Slab Strong for the hour. If you are thinking of starting a station or a brand or starting a business, or you just want to hop in and say hi to us, then make sure to join us tomorrow. You can create a free account at cardlife.org and then RSVP to the event. It is free, but this way we get to see each other face to face and talk you through any ideas or any pain points you have regarding building your brand or your business, and we can give you feedback there. Boom, knock that out.
Good stuff. I'm looking forward to that. That's something different. That'll be fun.
It'll be cool. Here's the thing, man. We're here looking at the comment section, everyone here. There's not a lot of face-to-face stuff unless you're in person, right? Like you're at the card show and it's face-to-face, but I don't feel like there's many Zooms, right? Instagram Live, it might be with one other person, but it's not with the chat, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's different. And even like with Clubhouse, it's still just audio. It's audio only, so it's not quite the same. I understand what you mean. Let's bring on Chris before he leaves.
Okay. Bring on Chris. One last thing I got to say is my second round of my men's accountability mastermind will be starting in a few weeks. If you have goals that you want to hit, but the people around you are not holding you accountable, maybe they're good people and they're supportive, but you want to lose weight, you want to quit smoking, you want to get out of debt, whatever, I'm throwing my second one. So if you're interested at all, thecomebackcardinvestor.com/accountability, and we could talk from there. I already got 3 of the 4 guys from last time rejoining. So I'm really excited to actually make a big impact or a bigger impact or facilitate that. All right, now there's Chris.
There he is, the legend.
Eric, you still awake? Are you still awake?
I'm here. Hello.
Chris had to put that power glove on just to get through that intro.
I did. I had to emerge from a cryogenic stasis just to be here.
Yes.
I've not heard the word stasis ever in my life.
You're not a Magic player. Magic stasis. It's a wonderful card.
Oh, okay. Dude, what's up, man?
How's it going?
It's been great for us. It's great to see you with the most epic background in the world after seeing you in the chat, like last week? I think you were you made a pop-up appearance. You're like a pop-up store. You just appeared in our comment section last week. And we're like, dude, what has Chris been up to in all this time? I think we had you on, like a year ago or 8 months ago or something like that.
Has it been that long? Has it really been that long?
Yes. It's been a bit. Yeah, I guess time flies, though. It's crazy.
That's true.
So tell us, obviously you've not stopped collecting. You have a lot of different collectibles, a lot of different things. What's been going on, let's just say in the last year or so, since a lot of people here in the chat have seen your videos or, have seen what you're doing? What's the biggest update for you?
I mean, it's tough. There was a lot of time spent on NFTs, obviously, during that period of time. And a lot of time spent just kind of collecting things that I feel are undervalued and just making the occasional move here and there, picking up some video games, lunch boxes, Still think that market is ripe. And then, of course, vinyl records by the just truckload for the most part. But yeah, that's been about it. Just a lot of collecting, riding the NFT wave while it was good to surf on. And now it's kind of set sail. So, well, at least for this period of time.
For now. Yeah. For now. Yeah.
For now.
I'm always intrigued how you can study so many different types of collectibles. As in, how do you know so much about so many when just sports cards has so much nuance, right? You know, like just this one little thing has grading and then pop reports and this is going up and this is trending. And then you're like into lunch boxes, you're into vinyls.
How do you decide like what you're deep diving on? You know,
I think a lot of it,
study.
A lot of it starts with nostalgia. You know, the things that you start out with early in life that you spend a lot of time with, or things that will connect you to a certain emotion or time in your life. These are the types of things that you often enjoy as an adult. You know, you've got your full-time gig over here, and then these are the recreational things that kind of bring your mind to peace. So I think that this is the type of stuff that I've always enjoyed from being a kid playing video games. Obviously, the toy collecting aspect. You know, my parents were flea market antique people, so I would always get some weird shit from the flea market. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of it does just come from childhood nostalgia, how you grow up. I didn't grow up with a lot of outer this and that. I wasn't like out being social. I was at home playing video games and watching movies, and I've spent a lot of time in a lot of these markets. So I already had like a good basis for value. And then when you look at trends and you look at sort of the things that have gone up in value, whether it be a Marvel card or what sports cards at the beginning of COVID, whatever it is. And there are still markets out there that have not blown up like that absolutely could. So trying to find those things and then having them for long enough for them to go out, to
Brian,
go.
no, you weren't.
That's the fun.
Brian, you were not.
No, he literally means chickens. No, like he Brian grew up in Tampa. There's a lot of like rural areas. It's chickens he was talking about.
Brian has been out on the beach for the last 40 years with a metal detector looking for gold bullion.
Hey, those are collected. Hey, there's good upside there as well.
Chris, do you go? So the other day I was in a Walmart. Do you go through the toy aisle every single time you're in Walmart and just look to see and just like, is it weird to you that there's He-Man there right now?
Well, I mean, some of it's cool, but for me, it's not going to be the way that it was in the 80s. Right. In the 80s, when these toys and these brands were out, nobody knew. Nobody was like specifically a collector. That was a very small percent of the market. And now toys are out there basically in a junk wax era, So I look for stuff that's either rare, high end, stuff that's going to be rare in the future. So like you see the back here, I got these Funko Pops. They're pop digital, and I had to buy NFTs on wax and redeem them, and then go and sign up on drop.io to redeem the NFTs to get those Funko Pops sent to me. There's 2 Iron Maiden, 4 Ninja Turtles, and the Iron Maidens go for like 600, 250. The Turtles, I think one of them is like 700 or 800 for the first one. So that's the kind of stuff. Chris, it's pretty cool to have.
I'm going to look back. So Chris occasionally will ping me and he's like, hey, I just picked this up. Take a look at it. It's kind of interesting. And then that'll be something I'll go back like in 20 years and be like, damn it, I could have bought that for $10 and now it's worth $1 million or whatever the hell.
So, what's better is this is what you do. You ping Dustin and then make Dustin make a 3-part video series on it. And then just that will pump up the prices. Then Chris, you could just offload on Dustin's audience.
If anything, it might bring the price down. And people are like, hey, if that Joker's looking at it, then I'm not touching it.
Real quick, shout out to Troy. Troy, I believe I need your address for the giveaway, so please email me. But thank you so much for the 10 Canadian dollars. I don't know what the translation is to US dollars, but I think it's similar. So really appreciate you super chatting us and showing Chris your appreciation as well.
It's probably about 20 US dollars right now.
Probably.
I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Okay. My question to you is like,
Brad already spent it. He's like, wait, how much was it?
Papa John's. You got that like carry out deal? 1 large, 1 topping for $8.99 plus tax. All right. My question too is, all right, I want to talk a bit about what sports you're watching or what you're watching on TV first, and then we'll go back to it because I know there's NBA playoffs going on. I know there's NHL playoffs. I'm in this baseball, which I don't even consider a sport, but right now, hockey playoffs is exciting me. The Lightning just swept the Panthers.
They crushed them. The Panthers, they were just not even there.
It was amazing. And that was very much an upset for at least a sweep. But what have you been watching? What excites you right now?
I watch basically basketball every time I get an opportunity, and a lot of the hockey as well. I'm excited that, we're going to pretty much see the Avalanche against the Oilers, right? So this is the first time that we're seeing McDavid deep in the playoffs. So if you want to have him be the next Gretzky, well, let's see how far they can actually get when they get this deep. And also have the Rangers. The Rangers are in. Panarin with that game-winning goal in Game 7. That was fantastic. Saw that live. I was like psychic, powering that one up. But yeah, that's it. A lot of basketball, a lot of hockey.
One thing that does excite me is watching the other teams in the Eastern Conference battle it out and tie the series, knowing my Lightning are just getting rested. So I mean, it's more like advanced logic. Like I can wait an extra week of not watching my team play because they're healing during the most brutal part of the season.
As long as they're not rusty, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah, usually if you can sneak out a win in Game 1, then it's good because like after all of that, you're rested, and even if you were rusty, you were able to shake it off enough to still pull out the W. That's a good sign. Okay,
and that's a deep team. So it's like even if somebody, they got Braden Point is injured. I mean, they're still deep. They're deep.
Yeah. Okay. So who's exciting you in the NBA right now? Who are you liking?
I mean, man, I gotta say,
he's a Nets fan. So.
I was so excited to see the Grizzlies get in there. Obviously, you can't fault the Warriors with Steph Curry where he is in his career. You'd love to see him win another ring, to get Clay back in the mix, the old bands back together. I think that would be a fantastic result. The only thing that I don't really like, I don't really like watching the Miami Heat. I dislike them from when LeBron was on the Heat, and I was a big Spurs fan because I like Tim Duncan. To see the Heat, they're there and they're good and I respect them, but I don't want to watch them play basketball. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't want to watch them play. But the Celtics, I'd love to see the Celtics go to the finals too. I think Celtics Warriors would be a great matchup, and the Celtics would probably lose in at least 5 games.
Are you thinking the Warriors win it all this year?
I think so. I think it's their championship to lose. You know what I mean?
Deep. They're so deep.
But if Draymond can just keep his mouth shut, just ignore the arrogance like he does the basket and just do the defensive work, and they'll be in better shape.
So let me ask.
Well, hold on, Brett.
Go for it.
I have to know, how often do you slip on that power glove behind you? I can see the box, or do you leave it in box? Don't touch it. No one's allowed to tell you,
man. Sometimes I'll just get out of the shower and go right to the power glove.
I knew it.
Where's the power glove? Where am I looking?
Right there, straight up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Wow, dude. Can you not put that on right now?
No. It's like all in the box. It's just too much conglomeration. It's a big mess. But it's just I should have worn it. I'm sorry. Next time.
Well, see, then exactly. The super chat would have been through the
helmet.
roof.
You got the Vader helmet with the
probably
power glove, and
I don't have a Vader helmet, but I do have Darth Vader. He's over there on the shelf.
So of everything behind you right now, you have all these different types of collectibles. What excites you the most? Besides, you mentioned the Funko Pops. What else? Which sounds like a lollipop to me. Sounds like a funky lollipop. I think it's those like weird little Japanimation looking things.
Is
that what you're talking about?
What do you mean, the Funko Pops?
Japanimation.
I don't know. It's like the big eyes,
Funko
and
Pops.
it's like kind of a cartoon looking thing.
Plastic vinyl guys. Yeah. They're square. I never really respected them as a collectible, but this day and age, they're one of the better collectibles of the modern age, man. People do love their Funko Pops.
I never got into that. Are you good with buying things that as an investment that you're not really interested in, or do you have interest in all these different things?
I would say for me, the branding really matters. If I have some sort of a connection to it, or if I'm into it that is related to something to it, like a music thing. But no, if I had something that I bought just because I knew that it was a good market and, it was going to be good in the long term, I would just stash it somewhere. I wouldn't have it on display. So everything that you generally see that's on display is stuff that I care about or, had some experience with growing up, something like that, like the Magic cards or the video games there, the Sega Genesis stuff, and all that kind of thing. And just, you know, some pieces are just iconic as hell, like a Darth Vader sealed still, you know, it's a AFA 80. I mean, it's fantastic. That's the first wave as well, the 12 back.
Oh, you have one of the original ones?
Yeah, that right there in the middle. No, you're fine, honey. It doesn't matter. It's fine. It's fine. They can't see it very well anyway. Maybe another time. I don't.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Real quick, your wife is in the chat, and I wanted to ask. There she is. Okay.
What's up, Ziggy?
So my question, what is her perspective on the amount of time or effort, or just you being so involved in this specific type of niche, right? Like, is it something like, hey, you're doing your thing, you're happy, that's great? Or is it, hey, you're taking up the entire house with like these weird cartoons and weird things? I need a bit more space, or I need.
Did Jenna buy in? I guess is what Brad is.
She likes
this
some
for
of
my
it.
Future Hinge, you know, the dates that go well that turn into something. I need to know what to say.
Yeah, she can answer for sure if you guys can hear her. Can you hear?
I can't stand Kiss.
She hates Kiss.
I hate Kiss.
She hates Kiss.
Well, we all do.
There's a lot.
I like them. They're all right.
It's trash.
Okay.
I love everything that's music related.
Yep.
Like, this
she likes
is
the music.
Only area of the house that he just totally takes.
Yeah,
over.
I have to give up other areas. You know, she gets the bedroom,
like
the bathroom,
my living room, my kitchen.
Right.
It's
I pick my battles. Right.
That's fair.
She likes some of it. When it gets into the weird stuff, we start talking about like death metal or weird shit.
No.
Then she doesn't like that at all. But she just kind of looks at me, like pats me on the head like the good 8-year-old, you know, and lets me have my toys. So it's you know what I mean?
I just want to say one more thing. We have to keep in mind that like all of these collectible things and his NFTs
and my
have
NFTs
really changed our life.
Yeah.
Like I'm about to buy a house or something with all this money, so I can't really complain much.
Let that be a lesson to the chat. Yeah. Figure out a way to make it all work. Figure out a way to make it all work.
Well, the other thing too is just like anything else, any sort of business deal or negotiation or whatever, think of it in the other person's perspective. What is in it for them? Well, if you're having a good time collecting and you're making money and you could take your wife out on a date or buy her something or move into a better house or just like prove that life is going to be better overall from you doing this, it's only going to benefit her and the chemistry together.
Absolutely.
So it's like, if it's like, hey, by the way, I'm going to be spending all of our money that we're saving up for a trip to Hawaii on my stuff, and you're just going to have to deal with it. That's not going to go over very well. But as long as you're a better spouse, happier overall, and you're still balancing time and making sure that your partner is in a better situation or happy, then it's a win-win.
Absolutely. And I think I'm definitely blessed to have a partner who's just chill about it. You know, as long as I just keep it in my area, whatever is fine. And she definitely benefits from it on occasion as well. And you probably can't, you know, I would say that that's a unique rarity. But Dustin would probably say the same about his wife. So anytime you've got somebody who will accept how you are and the things that you like, and you can do that for them as well, and you'll be happier people.
What we don't see is Jenna's got Cabbage Patch dolls covering the rest of the house. Those are her collectibles.
No, not really. We've
little
got
toy horses, toy unicorns everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she could if she wanted to. There's definitely some glass animals around here somewhere, some weird stuff for sure.
So one thing I did want to ask, Las Vegas is a very interesting city. Is it a city where collectibles, because I think of Pawn and Pawn Stars and all this stuff, is it a city where like it's normal to be really into different types of collectibles because it is a very eclectic type of city with a lot of different things? Or is it just on TV, I see Pawn Stars and that kind of stuff out of Vegas, and that's just an anomaly?
Well, I'll tell you what, pre-COVID, Vegas was pretty good for finding things. You know, a couple times a week, you would find a couple good things to buy, either on Craigslist or OfferUp. You know, you'd find a good batch of records worth $500. You go pick it up for $40, something like that. You would get that a couple times a week. After COVID, this place is just completely cashed out, dried up. you know, the people who have passed away, their estate sales have happened. It's like a big crater, you know. There really wasn't. I mean, there were a lot of people here on occasion, but most people, especially the rich people, they all lived in LA. That's where all the excess is, all the estate sales, everything else. That's all in LA in abundance. So if you live out there, then you're lucky because you could be able to go to those pretty much every single week. There's a dozen that are worth going to. In Vegas, it's very difficult. So I've honestly, we've been going to LA, you know, Arizona, traveling out of the area to find things that we want because it's kind of dead around here. Like, you could literally drive for an entire weekend to garage sales and the couple of estate sales, and you might not find more than a couple $100 worth of stuff that you want to buy. So I think there's a lot of opportunities out there still, but they're not in Vegas. Definitely not here.
Real quick, just on that same tangent of Vegas, known for gambling, there's something that Dustin brought up that he saw on Instagram. I guess, was this earlier today or yesterday?
Maybe it was a couple of days ago.
Why don't you just go over it? Because it's something I didn't see, and I'm not sure if anyone else saw this in the chat.
I'm frustrated, and maybe someone else did see, but I'm frustrated because I couldn't find the exact account. I thought that it was maybe Run Good Life on IG, but I could be wrong there. But it was it was a breaker that was on IG, and maybe it was a story, but basically he came out and said, hey guys, like, I've decided I am not going to do Prism football this year. Hobby boxes are $1,500. And I'll be perfectly honest, I don't want to basically like gather all this money from everyone to break when there isn't enough hits in that product, or I don't feel confident that anyone's going to get any value out of it. And it kind of struck me because it was like, wow, okay, like that was a really honest, you know, take from what I think is kind of an issue right now, where you see kind of box prices that are still very expensive, haven't really caught up a lot with some of the singles prices. Then you've got parallels that are watered down to all hell with new product, and people that are getting into breaks, are they getting the value out of it? I know that some, you know, people are going to, like, occasionally there's going to be a triple logo man pulled occasionally, but there's also tons of flawless and tons of other stuff that is just money just flushed down the toilet. So I don't know. I thought that was really cool to see. And again, I thought it was Run Good Life, but maybe it was a different breaker that was basically like, hey, I'm out until like the prices make sense for the people that I work with.
And if you guys saw this post and know who it is, and either can confirm or just point us in the right direction of who actually posted it, please do that. Just because I thought that was a very interesting story and very interesting take, because I've not seen that from a breaker before. But what's your take on that, Chris, in terms of breaking, but also turning down product if you feel like it's overpriced and maybe the customers, there's only going to be 1 out of 100 customers or whatever that would actually be pleasantly surprised, while the others would be disappointed?
I think it's definitely interesting. I mean, on one hand, it's not like they're going to have a problem finding somebody else to allocate product to if you piss the distributor off or whoever, and they're like, well, you know, if you don't want this product, then we're just going to give it to somebody else. You know, it's not like they don't have a bunch of demand. The demand isn't the problem. The problem is that when you're breaking, and it's not like a crazy lottery product anyway, like, you know, the high-end stuff, National Treasures, whatever else, all the stuff with like the really expensive or even transcendent tops, whatever, all that high-end stuff, it's fine because you know that it's a lottery, and you know when you pay $300 for a team, most of the time you're going to come off of it with nothing, or like a $40 patch, you know, something stupid. So they go in knowing, and I think those are okay. But I think when you're talking about an average product, just like Prism, and the prices are going up, and that's great for the people that are selling it, manufacturing it. But for the people that are in the breaks, it's actually the worst thing possible, because the faster that stuff gets opened, the more diluted the value is from the product that's being opened that you now have the cards from, you know. And then you have the waves of, is the team doing well? Is the player popular? You know, is he pissed off the media? Whatever it is. So you have all these different things, but they're creating a higher supply, and it's costing you more to get at it. And that's the worst thing, because when the bottom drops off of stuff like that, there's nothing. It's just, you're gone, you know? So I think that just constantly breaking to get just the occasional rare hit that is being diluted constantly by the attempt. Yeah, I don't like it, but I do like it for really high-end products. So I guess that's where you kind of have to figure out what makes sense and what doesn't. Are you going to get your cards just from breaking? And then is breaking just, you're going to subscribe to it? I mean, there's just, You know, I think it's also a problem for people who gamble because they just constantly are throwing too much money. I'll bet you there's plenty of husbands out there who have a wife and kids that do not know that there's $5,000 or $6,000 a month on the break card. You know, so that's going to be an issue too. I think there's a lot of different ways to look at it, but I think it's fun, but some of it isn't that great.
What's your take, Dustin? Because I thought it was just a very interesting story and maybe something that really evolves over time, especially as the hobby evolves and the numbers become more honest, and the people that might be struggling now with maybe financial debts or burdens, or their relationship is struggling because of this, it becomes more of a storyline in another year or two when they've been doing this for several years, and maybe there's like a $100,000 bill that they've yet to pay, and then the economy crashes and all this kind of comes to a head. So do you have I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't think I can't talk for Chris, but Brad and I are definitely not guys that buy into breaks. I'm pretty risk adverse in that way. I feel like it's hard enough to sell cards to make money on singles, let alone trying to do it with breaks. So it's like I don't want that extra risk attached to it. I also don't know if it's something, I know it's a big part of the hobby. I don't know, if it should be something that's celebrated on like a mass scale. I mean, I think that there's so much more to the hobby, I hope, than breaking. I mean, it's nothing against people that are making a living doing it. And I know there's a lot of reputable, companies and all that stuff. But I mean, when I started out in the hobby, there were no breakers, and I understand that there's a point to have them there's certain advantages having breakers in the market, but it's kind of like what you said. I'm also along the same lines of everyone's responsible for themselves. And if you choose to put X amount of dollars into a break or into a slot machine, then that's your business. You're responsible for you. But still, I mean, I look at it kind of like a slot machine. It's not really that different. And I feel like the value is really like 2 or 3 years ago wasn't good value. And now with everything being so diluted and the price points not really correcting, it's even worse. And like you said, now we've got economic problems. Now we got some big picture stuff, and you got credit cards coming due. And it's like, yeah, I'm not excited about it. I'm just not. You're on mute.
Yeah, I know. There's an ice cream truck, man. It's either a helicopter, a police.
Oh,
now I hear a cop car. I hear a helicopter.
Nostalgia.
Huh?
Speaking of nostalgia, cop cars and ice cream trucks.
Well, I got to say this. I have no idea how anyone operates an ice cream truck, because to listen to that one tune that repeats every 12 seconds for 10 hours a day would drive me crazy, because I hear it for 5 minutes straight, and it has the same little stop, and then it says, hello, and then and I'm like, wow, this is dreadful. Anyway.
By the way, shout out to Triggerfinger in the chat. I haven't seen Triggerfinger in forever. So good to see you, man.
And a group for husbands who have gotten divorced because of card collection addiction is something I would love to be the maestro of. I would totally be that ringleader right there to get former husbands back in the dating game and on their A game and getting them out of debt. But I will say this. Look, the point. One thing I wanted to mention in terms of why I wanted Dustin to talk about this and to bring it up is because I always thought to myself, I wonder if there's a card store out there, if there is a breaker out there, someone that has a sign up at their store that says, please collect and invest responsibly. There's no, it's not like this is alcohol or this is slot machines, or it's the same regulations as what we've seen in other industries, but the dangers can be just the same if you're addicted to gambling, if you're addicted to building a PC and your finances are suffering, your marriage is suffering, your health is suffering, all that kind of stuff. So any little morsel of turning down business for the sake of the actual end consumer's benefit in a deeper way is something I really respect. So anyone that does that, more likely has my business than someone that cares about the transaction, but they don't really care about you on a deeper level. It's just more like, hey, glad you're happy with this card. I don't care if you're 50K in debt. I don't care if you're not really happy in life or anything else is going your way or not. I'm just happy that you're happy with this one card, and that's where I'll leave it. And anyone that wants that cares more or cares deeper about the person, I I want to support. So I just want to
know. It just feels like, it makes me think about the blackjack table where it's the same guys every week, and it's like, all right, you guys all lost your money. See you next week. You know, like, I mean, it's.
Are you the cooler, Dustin? You seem like you'd be the cooler. You just roll up and just chill the whole table down.
Yeah.
So when you guys were in Vegas, did you gamble at all?
I didn't spend a dime on
what?
On I've been to Vegas 3 times, and I've never done one slot machine, which is kind of dumb. I should have done at least like one slot machine or something, but yeah, I just haven't done it.
Yeah, neither have I. I mean, buying Jared Stidham Prism PSA 10s was basically slot machines, but there was a strategy there. It just didn't work out. You know, buying Dwayne Haskins, you know, rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins rookie cards. I sold some. I actually sold some and then made a little profit because it was a very low end card. But I think I still have 1 or 2 left that I paid very little for. But, you know, obviously I'm not going to sell those. But that is risky enough for me. So the idea of actually gambling, straight out gambling without a strategy sounds just too dangerous.
Yeah.
However, you mentioned something earlier to me, like right before we hopped on, or was it earlier today, in terms of what you might be doing regarding your collectibles. You want to share that with us? Just what you're thinking of or what's going to happen?
Yeah. We're in negotiations to buy out a store inventory that has a lot of cool stuff. And we're strongly considering opening a record store somewhere here in Vegas. Because frankly, out of all the ones that are here, there's a couple decent ones, but then there's a lot of trashy ones too. And we would really, really enjoy that because we spend a lot of time with vinyl. It's one of our favorite things to collect and be involved with. And we can still have the other collectibles at the store as well. So, but a lot of vinyl.
Why vinyl? Like, what's the fascination? And like, I like the idea of other
that
stuff.
Start for you, Chris? Like, what's the nostalgia piece on that?
I think music is just something that touches pretty much everyone for different reasons. And I think that in my entire life, I don't think that I would have the same experience. Just without music, the music gets you there. You go through a bad breakup, boom, the music. Somebody dies you loved, boom, the music. It just different pieces from different times. It just, music is something that just cannot be quantified. Essentially, I couldn't imagine not spending a lot of time around a vinyl collection. And my father was a vinyl man. My family is definitely music. My dad loved vinyl. Okay. He used to set up at shows. You know, he would go to record shows and set up as a dealer. A lot of that as well. So love of music, love of collecting, love of buying and selling. It just kind of meets in the middle. Everything.
And yeah, we just saw,
and the wife loves it too.
There we go. Well, that's important.
Thing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, we could all love some sort of music, but I remember, and I got to give Flipping Steve credit because he always had the most unique, cool cards out there, and they were always Snoop Dogg or Pearl Jam or like or Nirvana, or I'm like, oh my God, these cards are amazing because the song starts to play in my mind, and I literally just bought these 1995 Panini Smash Hits cards. Very cheap, but Oasis was one of my favorite bands in the mid 90s. And the second Wonderwall or Champagne Supernova starts playing, I'm immediately taken back to, I guess, 9 years old. You know, I was born in 86, around 9 or 10 years old. And I'm like, oh, I'm right there. And I remember learning about this in, I don't know where I learned it, but in terms of movies or TV shows, the music that they play, that element is always something that most people don't really realize how important it is. But if you ever watch a dramatic movie or something and you put on mute and you don't get that background noise, it completely shifts the whole emotion and the whole, I guess, scene, because it could either be light or it could be dark, but you need that that glue to piece it all together.
Yeah, so the music lets you know whether you should be scared or cautious or excited. The music leads you. It lets you know that this is how this scene goes.
Yeah, absolutely. What else was I going to mention? I forgot. I kind of have to pee. But anyway, Dustin, ask a question.
Oh, you caught me off guard there. I wasn't ready.
That was kind of the goal, actually.
Well, no, actually, I wanted to go back up. There was a good question. It might have been Troy's question. I'm going to go back up to it. Hold on. It was towards the beginning.
Okay.
It was something to the effect of, it was something to the effect of who is buying. Oh, AJ asked it. I want to know who the whales are in the collective who are buying these $50,000 plus cards, because I know it's not me. These are the folks propping up the hobby. And there are still kind of these record-breaking sales. We saw Serena Williams had a card recently that was $250,000 or something like that. It does kind of seem like the high end has left the station for the rest of us. Like it's like the the big money plays kind of in this pool up here, and then everyone else is with the rest of it. Nothing wrong with the other stuff. I'm happy with what I'm buying, but when you say market, who is buying, what's that? Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
In this particular market, and I think that comes from a lot of. It's kind of similar with Top Shot right now, but a lot of the people are just in it to make money, and they're not really in it because they want to keep cards. Everybody can have some level of personal collection, but so many people are just into it to make money, just like the kids that were flipping sneakers or whatever else and their Gucci sweaters. Now they're flipping sports cards. So there's still a high percentage of people who are just flipping and not trying to keep long term, and that's going to make the fluctuation go. And when it goes down, it's who knows how long it'll stay there. But the core people that collect will still be there collecting.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, we saw that once COVID ended and once things opened back up, we saw a huge shift in the demographic. Good question from the Reg. What's next for collectibles and cards if there's a recession? Is there still a flipping market? And yeah, it's a great question. We can only speculate. Do you have a take, Dustin, first? Because I know you're the finance guy.
Well, I guess the one thing, obviously, assuming I can, I think the big thing during recession is always unemployment rate. And so if I can keep my job and I'm able to continue to make money so that I can buy into things, then of course it's a buyer's market, So what's the saying? It's like wealth is really made during recessions. Like wealth is really made when prices are way down and you're still buying into it. Well, it's not made on the way up or at the top. It's always kind of when you've got slow markets. And the big question then is just where we all, it's like, where does everyone put their money? And part of what makes it even more, I guess, tricky now is you do have new things like, NFTs. And I know a lot of card people are not interested in NFTs, and that's totally fine. But there's a part of me that wants some exposure to that stuff. Crypto, I want some exposure to it because I also don't want in 20 years to be like, man, I could have bought X at, this price, whatever, and I didn't get any of it. I don't want to be telling my kids a story about how I missed out. And that might be like a FOMO thing, and that's fine. But I'd like to just be diversified. So the recession for me just means buying opportunity. But it's just going to, where are we putting our funds? I think that's going to be the tricky part. Well, what about you, Chris? Oh yeah, go ahead.
I think that unless here's the thing, the collectibles markets as a whole, they're also diverse and dynamic. That even if prices fluctuate, some people start to sell. I mean, for vintage stuff, it's very hard to find good stuff and in good condition, so the price should hold a decent amount there. And then when you're talking about the newer stuff, it's in higher supply, but still, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I think that overall, hold on just 1 second. Let me get a drink here.
Is this part of the show? Is this part of the show?
Wait, Chris is about to do something. There's a magic trick.
He's going to he has a second glove.
I lost my train of thought because while you were talking, I had like 5 things that I wanted to say, and then it all kind of lost it at the end there. I apologize.
Okay, so let me throw this wrinkle in. Grading really hasn't been, well, let me say this, affordable grading really hasn't been there for the last 12 months. Outside of, I would argue that SGC is a fairly, it's a decent price point, but PSA is the largest grader in the space. And they really have been out. $50 a card is not $8 a card, how it was 2 years ago when a lot of people were grading cards. So how does, that all the companies getting caught up on backlog and they're being kind of full grading, lower price grading, how does that affect things to, kind of wrap that into it?
I mean, grading is in a scary place, in my opinion. I mean, now that the companies have kind of taken for granted that people want grading and they've started charging these crazy fees. And now, even what was it? Hybrid grading was like sold or whatever. And there's like scandals with trimming and like all this crazy stuff. And there's so many fake slabs that are around. I think grading is in danger. You know, there might be a world where people just say, you know, the hell with the grade. I can see that this card satisfies me, and maybe I get a fancy, you know, slab or something, but I don't know. I think it's in a dicey spot. I also think it's kind of annoying that you've got eBay now having you send cards to people for authentication and then having them, you know, send them after, because now you have an entire double mail process with people looking at the cards in the middle. I mean, that's dangerous, right? I mean, there's a plenty of opportunities for cards to get damaged. And then and I've seen that. I've seen it on Twitter. People post, this is what eBay did. They split my card and now they won't give me the money. I mean, there's a lot of dumb shit going on in the sports card community right now, unfortunately. Yeah, but we love the cards.
True.
Well, there's still a lot. I mean, look, everything, the authenticity guarantee, it's designed to solve a problem. So you're opening up another set of problems, but hopefully you're solving an even bigger one, which is fake cards. Or, you know, if you're 98% accurate on it and it's only a 1% error, then it's like, if it's better than what it was before, that's the whole goal. Because it's like, you can't perfect something overnight, and no matter what, they'll always be like, well, here's the new scam, here's the new way to get around it, type of thing. As long as it's moving forward, I feel like that's the whole point. Okay, let's see. Okay, you go for it.
So we just talked about kind of weird stuff going on with cards, whether it be a fake card or fake slab. Have you seen similar stuff with like graded action figures or graded video games or other types of collectibles where someone's like faked an action figure or like tried to put one, you know, like try to pull one over on you?
You know, I haven't. As far as action figures go, there are a lot of cool variants and just kind of bootlegs and knockoffs, but those are often collected by collectors because they're from the 60s and 70s. So you don't really see as much of that. One thing to look out for vintage lunchboxes is restoration, because sometimes you'll get a scuffed up vintage lunchbox that might be worth $500 in good shape, and they'll touch it up, you know, and maybe it's just like $100 box, but they try to touch it up and make it look like it's in really good condition. And I think that, you know, like the thing that I like about lunchboxes is that it has everything that you want from branding. It destroys itself. It's got nostalgia, and they're not grading them yet. But I did find some that were graded on eBay through CAS, which is the second most popular action figure grading company instead of AFA. So the CAS people have graded a few lunchboxes. There's just not that many of them. And the one that was a G.I. Joe, like the 60s G.I. Joe box, the first one, not the 80s guys, that sold for like $4,000 on eBay maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. But I know that if those things started to hit the big auction houses and people started to grade them, because, you know, they look really nice. They display nice in an acrylic box because you've got the thermos and, you know, they look nice. So I think if those hit the big auction houses, they would definitely go up a lot in value. Same thing with 90s vinyl. You know, you look at the music industry and you've got bands from the 90s like Nirvana and Smashing Pumpkins that are always going to be big bands. In another 10 years, you know, 5 million kids are born. They still are going to be Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins fans at some point. And then you look at how much of that vinyl is available. You know, you can get an original pressing of some vintage Nirvana albums for $500, you know, in that range, because it's that expensive, because there's not that much of it, because the CD was king. So the rare vinyl from the 90s for all the original pressings, and those are the ones that sound the best because those are from the master discs and whatnot. So, you know, 90s vinyl is very, very rare. So that stuff's also a good long-term investment because those bands are never going out of style. So it's with the other markets, you say, oh, I could pay $300 for a Nirvana album now. Another 10 years, that might be a $3,000 record.
Oh my God, he's alive.
I don't know what profile picture that is, Boris. Your beard looks different from your picture. Almost looks like a carrot and French fries.
He's running a food channel now. The Hobby Box.
I guess maybe it's related to the lunchbox.
Maybe, yeah, the Hobby lunchbox for sure.
Good to see you, Boris. And yeah, sorry, Chris, I only see your forehead right now because the comment was so large from Boris. But you know how he does it, man. Well, it's really interesting you mentioned 90s vinyl because, I mean, even growing up in the 90s, I remember having a cassette tape or two, like a couple cassette tapes, and then CDs. Yeah. Never had vinyl. Is there a market for CDs, or was that just so overly produced that even an unopened CD of whatever band in the plastic wrap, that's not really worth much.
I mean, people still get into CDs. There are people who just enjoy them, but you can get a CD for just like $2 or $3. There are some sealed ones or rare stuff or box sets. I mean, there are a few that are worth more, but on average, CDs are basically junk. They're like DVDs, and people don't really use the technology because if you're in a car, you're streaming, and if you're a connoisseur, you're listening to vinyl. So the CDs are just inferior.
One thing I forgot to mention, and then I'm going to have to use the restroom because I've held it long enough, is this. And I mean, guys, for reference, this is my second 60-ounce green smoothie of the day. So, I mean, every 45 minutes.
And this is my first margarita.
So I went to a place. It's called Melrose Place Rooftop, which just opened. I actually luckily got in on Saturday, and my friend starts talking to this guy who was from Delaware, and he's from Delaware as well. So I guess if you're from Delaware, there's only 700,000 people total. So you kind of know when someone makes it big, because there's not that many people overall. And he's like, oh, I love your work, da da da. I didn't know who he was talking to at first, and then he introduced me, and I said, oh, my name's Brad. His name's Ryan. He's like, yeah, I'm an actor, da 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 da. And then when he left, I was like, so wait, who is he? What's he been in? He's like, oh, that's Ryan Phillippe. And if you guys, Ryan Phillippe's been in a lot of stuff, but one of my favorites. What's that?
Cruel Intentions.
Yes, exactly. So Cruel Intentions was one of my favorite movies. But going back to music, I clearly remember Cruel Intentions had the best soundtrack.
Yes, agreed.
The best soundtrack.
I've got that on my playlist. Some of that stuff. So
Ryan Phillippe apparently goes out a lot here in LA. He was a very nice guy to talk to, and I didn't even know it was him.
That's funny.
That's my story over the weekend.
Is he into vinyl?
I'll have to ask next time.
God, it sounds like you need to hit the LA estate. Like you need to hit the estate sales in LA. What are you doing?
That's fantastic.
Honestly, that's actually a pretty good idea. Just to go to the estate sales up in Malibu or Beverly Hills or certain areas where it's like, okay, this is going to be a really nice house. Who knows what they have?
Have Chris come up there and show you what's what.
Here's the thing. I think people would go very early in the morning, and that just sounds horrible to me. So I'd be going at 2 p.m. and be like, there's nothing here, because of people that went at 7:30 in the morning, found everything, and cherry picked it all.
You have two approaches to estate sales. All right. The first approach is be there before everybody else, claw your way in to talk to the person who's running the estate sale and try to get what you want. Because when things do come up, everybody and their brother wants them, and they have an incentive to just price these things at basically market or higher because of the people that are going to come in. So you can either be there first, try to negotiate, try to buy it all in one fell swoop, or you can be the guy that comes in on the second or third day of the sale, see what's left, and then get it for generally half off. And then maybe you can make some liquidation, buy out, whatever type strategies. Those are the two things. There's no in the middle. You're not going to be there the first day in the middle of the day. You either got to be there on the last day, picking up everything, or you got to be there first, fighting for the best stuff.
Do you find deals at estate sales, or are you going into weird places that, not weird places, but unconventional places where maybe wherever you're listening from in the chat, you could probably tap into, or you could try tapping into? Do you go to garage sales, estate sales? I don't know what else. What have you found a lot of luck in?
I mean, you never know. For garage sales, it's just a grind thing. Against you never know. You could drive all day, and then the last sale that you go to could be the big hit. Because a lot of the time, you're just seeing what people have that's underpriced that they don't care about, or you're asking them, about more stuff that they might have, or know somebody that has it, this and that. But with estate sales, it's completely different because they're out there with the shield of high prices, and then you have to kind of find your way in. Or auctions are good as well, or storage units. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to get the stuff. And I think that estate sales are fine, but they do not like to sell early, and they want you basically to show up and get in line, do all this annoying stuff. But you can still have success with them on the second or third day when everything's half off.
It sounds like Brad's way too lazy for that hustle.
Yeah, then how do I click a few buttons and make a lot of money?
Well, first you have to research and know what you're buying, and that's I know.
You probably need to set up a plan.
But hey, at least there's a lot of pictures to look at.
New plan, okay. Chris. New plan. Chris, you tell me when NBA Top Shot's going to explode again, and you tell me what buttons to press, and I'll do that.
Let me tell you what. As far as the sentiment around Top Shot, it can't get any worse. And they've been racing to the bottom. People are still buying moments for $15,000, $20,000. There's still people who believe, but that's at a discount in a lot of these cases. So if you're really looking to throw a few hundred in, Series 1 moments, especially debuts, are a lot cheaper than they've ever been since it initially blew up. So who knows? Maybe it continues to go down. Maybe next year, whatever. I just know that Top Shot will succeed in the long term. As far as what these high-end moments value will be like, they might just come down. They might just keep going up. I don't know. But it really depends. I think it will still exist. So it will be something that people do, but it might not just be like the sports card collectibles. They might not even know what their target market is as far as a consumer goes, who do they want? People that just go to games, people that just buy packs and don't do the physical sports card thing. I mean, it's just, who knows? But it's not the physical people because they don't care about it at all.
You never know if Top Shot's going to combine with like functional NFTs, or maybe they'll add something functional to it. Who knows? But anyway, sorry to steal your thunder, but it looks like Hobby Box is announcing his return to the YouTube world in Q3 of 2022. So congrats, Boris. It's been a while. He is a father now, so congrats to Boris for being a father. I don't understand this avatar.
I was gonna say, what is that?
It's a carrot with a lemon on it, with a couple of French fries on a newspaper.
Was that like a duck's nose? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is
Boris? Please explain what the hell we're looking at, because
is that a mutated tongue?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are you gonna be talking about cards again, or is it going to be art? Is it going to be art like this avatar?
Yeah. Is this an NFT? Is this a moment right here, like a carrot with a lemon sitting on a newspaper with some French fries? I don't know. That's what I'm looking at least. Okay. Really funny things. Where is it? Brad should auction dates with him. Would love to, but I would charge too much. And CompC, I'd love for CompC to start doing rummage sales. CompC was my rummage area. That was my garage sale. That was like the massive dollar bin where it actually went up to, thousands of dollars, but a lot of stuff that was really cheap. Okay. It's a penis with pubic hair. Probably should not have shown that comment. Okay, let me ask you.
I mean, I was here for the Saturday Night Live level production guys, and right now it's lower than that. It's lower than that. We can do better. You know what I mean?
Well, Brad
We've
now
reached
lives
like
outside.
Arsenio Hall show level.
Look, we're the NBA Top Shot of YouTube sports card live stream. So I mean that's pretty much where we're at. There's really only upside. There's only upside from here. We know what rock bottom feels like. All right. Before we head out, we got about a couple minutes. Sure. Just we want to honor your time, and really I want to honor my bladder. Between now and the end of the year, name one bold prediction for the card hobby.
Man, there's so many things. Jeez, man. One bold prediction.
Or a wish. We'll say either a wish or a bold prediction before December 31st of this year.
Before December?
And it can't be that you hope that Brad lives indoors again. Can't be that one.
That's too bold. Ain't happening.
It's not really a bold prediction, because I was just going to say Zion shows up, plays well, card blow up. But I mean, that seems like a pretty obvious play. So I it's tough. I don't really have one.
What about with Fanatics, with PSA, with one of the companies?
Oh yeah, Fanatics. Okay, that's a good thing. So Fanatics, as you know, they are also part owners of Candy Digital with Gary V, right? So they were charging $50 for packs of moments with like 5 in them, and there was such small demand that for everybody that bought the packs, they then gave them another pack and lowered the price of the packs, and that's Gary V and Fanatics together. So that's pretty interesting. Like I said, that the demand there, they're really overestimating themselves in the NFT market.
So wait, what's the prediction?
The prediction there, so that's what I was going to say. So you said earlier to me that Josh Luber was out, right?
There was like a little bit of a Instagram post murmuring it. But Dustin, how would you describe it?
Yeah, it was just a rumor that someone had thrown around, and then I think that someone actually asked directly to Fanatics, and Fanatics said that it's not true.
Do you see any giant acquisition, merger, something before the end of this year, or do you feel like it's a bit too premature? It'll happen. If something happens, it'll be in 2023.
Well, I mean, what's left to buy out? They've bought out the grading companies, the breakers. They don't care about the products. You know, the Fanatics has got the cards coming. I mean, I don't know. Is it weird that Fanatics made the Gary V card set? Did they do that because they were in cahoots with him with Candy Digital? I mean, geez, does Gary V crash the market, or does he blow the market up? He's such a hinge, and now VCon. Everything.
Don't mention the word hinge. Like I have a different association.
I don't even know what that is. My bold prediction is you find your hinge.
Like my life partner, or just I download the app.
No, you're not ready for that. You're not ready for that.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, Brad's only 47. He's not ready for a life partner yet.
No.
He's like 28. He plays 47.
Man, there's some interesting. I would actually be nervous if I found the one this early.
We were on a stream a couple weeks ago, and someone in the chat put like, "Oh, I thought Brad was like 40," and I thought that he was gonna just break down on the camera, like everything just kind of went like the flesh started to leave.
All those Botox injections for nothing.
It was like mirror on the wall stuff. It was like, yeah, it was like,
no, dude.
Whoa.
Look, they're going to need another 10 years of evolution to figure out how to tame that tiger. It's not happening.
Yeah. I'm liking the single life in LA, but anyway, okay. So no bold prediction. How about one wish? What wish would you like to see for the card hobby? Let's just say in the next 365 days before summer of next year.
I would like to see in the card hobby, happier kids. I think that kids they're getting the worst end of the stick. You know, when you were talking earlier, I was thinking, well, man, maybe we should just put like an age restriction on all the high end products. You know, just make it, you got to be 18 or over to gamble on this prism. But if it's hoops, well, we can give that to the kids, you know? So I think, yeah, I wish that the hobby would focus on the kids and not so much all the expensive stuff, because I think that's where the heart of the hobby is, with kids and, you know, all that kind of youth culture. But yeah, I think that's probably it.
Happy kids,
right? I mean, is there anything right? I mean, is that, you know, I don't know.
That's as wholesome as it gets.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. It's perhaps a cheesy answer, but that's it. I mean, my heart likes Marvel cards as well. So, I mean, I'd always like to see more non-sports card content for sure. I'm not really into baseball, love hockey, always want hockey to get more love. That's the most exciting sport to me, aside from basketball, to watch. But like, yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, I wish that the markets would figure out whether we care about grading or not, and figure out whether the digital thing exists or not. And other than that, you know, make the kids happy, because they're going to be the ones that are buying the shit in 20 years.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, I returned to the hobby because I remembered the fun as a kid. If I don't remember it being fun as a kid, why would I ever come back?
Exactly.
You know, and with a lot of us as well. So good stuff right there. Any final words, Dustin, before I honor my bladder?
His bladder's really been trooping.
You're starting to get cranky, so I think we should cut it.
Okay, guys. Appreciate you. Remember, tomorrow night on cardlife.org, Dustin and I will be Zooming with Tim of Slabstrong, and anyone that joins us, feel free to hop in, ask any questions about content creation, ask Tim about starting a company or any advice there, or if you just want to say hi and join in on that, would love to see you face to face. And if you are looking to crush any goals this summer, you want to join the 3 guys that I'll be working with in an 8-week accountability group, because you really want to lose weight, you really want to get out of debt, you really want to launch something, and maybe you just cannot do the work on your own, you've not been able to hold yourself accountable, then comebackkcardinvestor.com/accountability. We could see if it's a good fit, but I'd love to help you in a more meaningful way, just like that one breaker who actually cares about not ripping y'all off. So that was cool. Anyway, guys, got to pee. Talk to you all later.
All right. See you guys.
Thank you. Peace
Go
out.
Bulls.